New York City is now facing a troubling economic shift as new reports reveal that tens of thousands of jobs have disappeared from the city's private sector. Over the past year alone, private sector employment has declined by approximately 38,000 jobs, signaling growing instability in the city's labor market. While some industries continue to expand, the broader economic picture suggests that businesses are slowing down hiring or leaving the city altogether. This decline has sparked a major debate about whether current political leadership and economic policies are helping stabilize the situation or making it worse. Despite these warning signs, Mayor Zoran Mamdani continues to express confidence in his economic strategy. Rather than stepping back from his agenda, he's doubling down on proposals to increase taxes on wealthy individuals and profitable corporations. According to the mayor, asking the richest residents and most successful companies to contribute more to the city's finances is necessary to keep New York functioning and accessible for working and middle-class families who are struggling with the rising cost of living. However, the economic data shows that the situation is becoming increasingly complicated. Outside of the healthcare sector, job growth across the city has largely stalled or declined. In fact, healthcare, particularly home health aide positions, has been the only sector consistently adding jobs. Without this single area of expansion, the city's employment numbers would appear far worse. This imbalance has raised concerns among economists who worry that the city's economy may be relying too heavily on one industry while others shrink. At the same time, New York City's government finances are under pressure. The city is facing a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, forcing officials to look for ways to increase revenue. Because of these financial concerns, the credit rating agency Moody's recently downgraded the city's financial outlook from stable to negative, echoing the uncertainty that surrounded the city during the early stages of the pandemic. A downgrade like this signals to investors and policymakers that fiscal risks may be growing. Mayor Mamdani insists that the downgrade is premature and believes the city will recover with the help of state lawmakers in Albany. He's counting on state government to support new tax policies and provide additional financial resources to stabilize the city's budget. According to the mayor, cooperation between city and state officials will allow New York to continue funding public services and social programs without placing too much burden on working residents. Critics, however, question whether raising taxes during a period of job losses is the right strategy. Some argue that increasing corporate taxes while the job market is already weakening could push companies to relocate or reduce hiring even further. They believe that businesses might interpret these policies as a signal that operating in New York is becoming increasingly expensive and risky. The mayor defends his plan by emphasizing that the proposed tax increases would mainly target the most profitable corporations rather than small or medium-sized businesses. In his view, economic development and economic justice should not be seen as opposing goals. Instead, he believes that a fairer tax system can help fund programs that improve the quality of life for all New Yorkers while still allowing businesses to succeed. Supporters of the administration also point to upcoming international events as opportunities for economic growth. For example, the city is preparing to host matches during the upcoming FIFA World Cup, and officials believe the tournament could bring significant tourism and investment to all 5 boroughs. Meetings between city leaders and international sports officials have already begun as they attempt to maximize the economic benefits of the event. Meanwhile, state lawmakers in Albany are debating a massive state budget estimated at around $270 billion. Some proposals within that budget include additional tax increases aimed at high earners and corporations. Republican lawmakers have strongly criticized these plans, calling them financially irresponsible and warning that they could drive businesses and wealthy residents out of the state. Governor Kathy Hochul has taken a more cautious stance. Although she has not ruled out all tax increases, she has repeatedly stated that raising taxes should not be the first solution to budget problems. The governor has emphasized that New York must remain competitive with other states that have lower tax burdens, suggesting that policymakers must carefully balance revenue generation with economic growth. Concerns about wealth leaving the state have become a central part of the debate. Some analysts warn that aggressive estate tax proposals, such as raising rates dramatically while lowering exemption thresholds, could push wealthy residents to move their assets and families to states with more favorable tax laws. With more than 100 billionaires living in New York City, even a small number relocating could significantly impact the city's tax base. Financial advisors and investment firms could also play a role in this process. If tax policies become significantly more aggressive, advisors may recommend that their high-net-worth clients relocate their legal residences to places like Florida, where taxes are much lower. Over time, this could shift enormous amounts of wealth away from New York, reducing the tax revenue the city relies on. Another issue affecting businesses in the city is rising crime and retail theft. Police are currently investigating multiple robberies at high-end athletic apparel stores across Manhattan and Brooklyn, including repeated thefts from stores selling premium workout clothing. In several cases, tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise has been stolen in incidents where suspects simply walked in, grabbed items, and ran out the door. Local shop owners worry that repeated theft can make it impossible for stores to remain profitable. If losses continue to pile up, companies might eventually close their locations, eliminating jobs and leaving commercial spaces empty. Business owners say that without stronger enforcement or improved security, retail stores could face serious long-term challenges. At the same time, lawmakers are proposing new labor policies that could dramatically increase the city's minimum wage. One proposal would gradually raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour for large employers, with smaller businesses given slightly more time to adjust. Supporters argue that current wages are too low for workers to survive in one of the most expensive cities in the world. Critics argue that such a dramatic increase could have unintended consequences. They claim that forcing companies to pay much higher wages might lead to fewer entry-level jobs, more automation, or even businesses leaving the city altogether. In an era where artificial intelligence and automation are already changing the workforce, some economists worry that aggressive wage mandates could accelerate job losses rather than reduce poverty. All of these issues, job losses, tax debates, crime concerns, and wage policies are converging at a moment when New York City is already struggling with affordability and economic uncertainty. The decisions made by city and state leaders over the next few years will likely determine whether the city can stabilize its economy or whether more businesses and residents will choose to move elsewhere.